Love does not stop at a single beautiful body. It climbs from one beautiful face to beautiful bodies everywhere, from bodies to the beauty of a soul, from souls to the beauty of laws and knowledge, and at last to beauty itself, eternal, beyond space and time. Love is not possession, it is ascent. This is the answer Socrates brings to a room full of lesser loves, and it comes from the mouth of a woman, while a drunken god waits at the door with an accusation no one expects. But before the ascent, there is the descent. The party has just heard Agathon, the young prize-winning poet, deliver his speech. It glitters, it dazzles, and it is hollow. Agathon is the narcissistic poet, so taken with his own brilliance that other people seem dull. He tolerates them because they applaud him. He throws this party in his own honor, in his own house, but he does not truly need a single guest in the room. In Plato, you are what you love. If identity is forged through other people, then Agathon has almost no identity at all. He has begun a lifelong romance with himself, and that self-love is the legacy of his teacher, the rhetorician Gorgias. Gorgias taught the art of false speech, the craft of persuasion and appearance instead of reality. So Agathon's speech is costume jewelry, not gold, lovely from a distance, worthless under examination, the work of a man who does not even know himself. The guests applaud and call the speech wonderful. The line is pointedly ironic. They say Agathon has done himself great honor, and the god as well. He praised himself. The god of love was an afterthought, tacked on at the end. Now it is Socrates' turn, the last speech of the evening. He protests that he could never match such a beautiful speech. The protest is ironic. The more he disclaims his skill, the more certain we become that something genuinely beautiful is about to arrive. And it begins, as always, with a definition. Socrates says he learned the truth about love from a woman. Her name is Diotima. In Greek, the name means the honor of God. For the first time, a woman enters the conversation. For the first time, love is spoken of between man and woman. The joining of opposites, Plato hints, is essential to love itself, and Diotima corrects everyone. Love is not a god, she says. The gods are perfect. They lack nothing. But love wants, love lacks. Love is a daimon, a demigod, an intermediary stretch between the human and the divine, a bridge binding earth to heaven. And notice the inversion. The woman teaches Socrates. She questions. He answers, haltingly, doing his best. So Socrates does not give a speech at all. He gives a performance, a dramatization of a woman teaching him through dialectic, a dialogue nested inside the dialogue. While the others perform rhetoric, Socrates reenacts the search for truth. Here is her great teaching. Love is a longing for truth, for wisdom, for beauty, for perfection. That is why it cannot be a god. The gods already possess these things. Love is full of desire. And so Diotima leads Socrates up a ladder. We begin with the love of a single, beautiful body. Then we love beautiful bodies everywhere. Then we rise to love the beauty of a soul. And we keep climbing, from the soul to the love of knowledge and wisdom, from knowledge to the love of laws and institutions, and at the summit to the perfect, eternal forms themselves. Beauty draws us upward. It lifts us out of space and time towards something higher and finer. When we fall in love, Diotima says, we are glimpsing in the beloved a faint image of ultimate beauty. This is the highest speech of the night. Because we perceive a rough image of the soul's perfection, we are driven to create more perfection in ourselves and in the one we love. Love is a longing for eternity, and love itself seems to prove it. Lovers feel as though they have stepped outside of time. In some sense, love abolishes time. It feels eternal, because it reaches toward the eternal. Socrates finishes. The company applauds. Most agree his speech is the finest of all. Only Aristophanes holds back, ready to argue, fitting for the comic poet whose mockery once helped wound Socrates in Athens. But before he can open his mouth, there is a pounding at the door. The orderly evening is over. A god is about to arrive. It is Alcibiades, the most dangerous man in Athens. Brilliant, beautiful, eloquent, and entirely without loyalty. He persuaded Athens into the disastrous Sicilian expedition, which destroyed its army and its navy. Facing punishment, he fled to Sparta. He betrayed Sparta through an affair with the wife of a Spartan king. Then he fled to Persia and betrayed Persia too. He is the corrupt soul behind a beautiful face, and he is, in his own dark way, a daimon. Like Socrates, he stands beyond the ordinary human measure. Socrates leans toward the good. Alcibiades leans toward evil. He bursts in roaring drunk, crowned with laurel, trailing a band of revelers. He has become Dionysus, god of wine, god of madness, god of both tragedy and comedy. This matters. The feast honors Agathon's victory as a tragic poet, and the greatest of the comedians, Aristophanes, sits in the room. The god asks to join the drinking. He places ribbons in Agathon's hair to crown his triumph. Then the laurels slip over his eyes. He squints around the room, and he discovers Socrates lying right beside him. He springs up in astonishment. Alcibiades insists on crowning Socrates too. No head in all of Greece, he says, is like this one. Socrates looks like an ugly satyr, but no one who sees inside him finds his equal. Other men speak well or badly, and Alcibiades shrugs. Only Socrates drives him to despair. Socrates always makes him feel he is living a wretched life, that he should abandon politics for philosophy. It is a demand Alcibiades cannot meet. His soul is not stable enough to follow it. He takes charge of the party. He drinks deeply from a great bowl, then orders it filled again for Socrates. But Socrates, however much he drinks, never gets drunk. He stays an image of moderation and the perfectly ordered soul. Alcibiades announces an encomium, a speech of praise, on Socrates. And since drunkards tell the truth, he will tell the whole truth. Remember what Diotima revealed. Love is a daemon between the divine and the human. And Socrates has every mark of that half-divine figure. He goes without sandals. He hunts for knowledge. He seeks perfection and virtue. Socrates is the good daemon of love. In Greek, happiness is eudaimonia. It means having a good daemon within you. Socrates is the good daemon living inside Athens. It's happiness, the pure spirit of love itself. And the tragedy is that the Athenians never understood this. They had a god among them, and they did not know. Then Alcibiades tells a more personal story. Once he tried to seduce Socrates. He offered his body in exchange for wisdom, certain he was being clever. Socrates laughed. He pointed out the absurd bargain. Alcibiades would be trading bronze for gold, getting infinitely the better deal. And then Socrates said, the attractions of the soul far outshine those of the body, and that he simply did not find Alcibiades attractive. The beautiful young man, used to being wanted by everyone, had been gently, completely refused. And here is the truth Alcibiades finally admits. Socrates loves none of them. He makes small accommodations to their feelings. But Socrates is not homosexual, not heterosexual, not sexual in any human sense. He is not even fully human. His whole heart points somewhere higher, toward virtue, toward goodness, toward final knowledge. This is why Socrates is ironic his entire life. People imagine he is smitten with them. In truth, he barely tolerates them. They mistake his patience for desire. Now comes the great twist of the dialogue. Alcibiades' speech of praise is also a legal accusation. He uses the language of the courtroom, trial, jury, charges, and the charge is hubris, arrogance. He accuses Socrates of trying to be more than human, of chasing an inhuman virtue, of being too good. For this, Alcibiades says, Socrates deserves to be convicted. It is the only true accusation anyone can make against him, the real charge that should have been brought at his actual trial. But there is a problem with the accusation. No human being dares to accuse a daimon. A daimon is half divine, only a fully divine figure can bring such a charge. And tonight, Alcibiades has become a god. So the scene is exact. The divine accuses the half-divine of trying to become wholly divine. Socrates' great flaw is that he is too good, and for that flaw, he does not deserve to live among ordinary people. He should be sent up to the gods, where he belongs, and this explains the calm of Socrates at his own death. He is neither frightened nor distressed, because for him, death is a reward, a return to the gods he has been climbing toward all his life. The scene at the banquet dovetails precisely with his trial and his execution. The only one who can rightly accuse this daemon of love and knowledge, who never once loses control of his soul, is a god. As Alcibiades finishes, the room is stunned. Then the rest of the revelers break in. The doors give way. Dionysus and Alcibiades were only the vanguard of disorder. All decorum collapses. The guests drink enormous quantities of wine. The careful order of speeches dissolves into pure chaos. The ascent up the ladder ends in a drunken brawl. Everything Socrates built in his speech is swept away in a single rush through the broken doors, except in one corner. There, Socrates remains sober. He keeps Agathon, the tragic poet, and Aristophanes, the comic poet, awake beside him, arguing a strange and beautiful point, that the same poet should be able to write both comedy and tragedy. One by one, the others pass out. Agathon sleeps, Aristophanes sleeps, and only Socrates remains awake, master of his soul to the very end of the longest night. And here is the final quiet suggestion of the whole dialogue. The true tragic hero of this story is Socrates himself. But he has no real tragic flaw. His only hubris is that he is more than human, almost divine. The genuine comedy is that no one in the room understands any of it. They take the god's speech and the god's accusation for a drunken joke. The greatest meditation on love ever written hides itself inside a party that no one remembers clearly in the morning. Love that climbs the ladder from a single body to eternal beauty. A god who walks unrecognized through Athens. An accusation of being too good, made by a drunken deity that foreshadows a real trial and a real cup of poison. Plato's praise of love turns out to be a meditation on politics, on art, on rhetoric, and above all, on the soul. Every guest praised love. Only Socrates climbed it, and only Socrates in the end was love. The room slept. The ladder remained.